Guess what? Now is not the time to give up. Oh, wait, you've already been given up? Oh, shoot. Well, then guess what? It's time to get up. It's time to dust off. And it's time to get going if you've been sidelined. I know what it feels like to be sidelined. To know that I'm doing the minimum in life and that there's so much, so much more that I could be doing. And usually in my life, the things that held me back from doing more is because I got into my head and allowed for the voices in my head to tell me I wasn't good enough, or it's too late, you ain't good enough, you're not lucky enough, you're not this, you're too old, you're too young, you're not smart enough. Those are called limiting beliefs. They're relentless. They're usually programmed into our lives at the earliest age. A lot of criticism. They come from a lot of judgment, other people judging us and criticizing us. And then guess what? We start believing this shit. And because we start believing it, we then allow it to take up a stronghold in our minds. And at the end of the day, it sidelines us because we think that it's too late. You're too far behind. And then you're doing all the comparison, right, on this shit, the socials. So much comparison now that it's really can be overwhelming. It can be daunting. And that's why I advocate to each and every one of you, myself included, that the real power position in your life is for you to look in the mirror. Just make improvements, little by little. Teeny weeny improvements every single day. Over a consistent, extended amount of time brings about major shifts, major transformations. You know, I've been on this journey for going on 13 years now, right? 13 years of saying every single morning, guess what? We ain't gonna do the alcohol thing. We ain't gonna get drunk. And for 11 out of those 13 years, we said we're not gonna do the THC thing. That's pretty significant, don't you think? 11 out of 13 years. So I've been free from THC for over 2 years now. And then, I mean, what else is it? I don't do any other hardcore drugs, right? The biggest real threat to most of us is the number one cause of death, right? Heart disease. And that's related to food, drinking, and smoking. All things that we do as a means of avoiding pain and getting ourselves more pleasure, greater doses of pleasure. Because in reality, I mean, ain't nobody want to feel the pain. And even hard chargers that say they love the pain, I mean, it's more of a tolerance of it. I mean, if you had a choice between being like all filled with pleasure and versus fucking just suffering and pain, it's like, you know, I think a well-rounded life has a little bit of both, don't you? Could you take on a little more pain in your life, and not pain in terms of you're breaking yourself down, right? But in terms of like strategic things that are going to challenge you in order for you to do what? This is the kicker. Things that challenge you, that are good for you, should strengthen you. They should bring growth as to who you show up as each and every day. That's the real purpose of it all, is that the things that you embrace should definitely challenge you. They shouldn't just be easy street stuff. And yet, I know far too many people. It's easy to coast. And it's easy to just kick back, especially if you're living for the weekend. And I think we're starting to wake up more and more each and every day to realize that, man, that is the most unfulfilling way to live. It's literally just being idle, needing downtime because you're so overwhelmed mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and yes, physically. And as the years peel by, if you continue in that place of stagnancy, life's going to get even harder and even more painful because you're going to start having some serious health problems, right? I literally transformed my life back in 2020. One of the biggest shifts was shifting my nutrition. I went from traditional Western diet, right? Lots of steaks, lots of beef and chicken and fish, right? And all the delicacies, all the fine dining. And I went full on vegan. I don't know if I really talk about that, but I went full vegan 4 years ago. And it changed my life. It massively changed my life from the inside out. And I'm somebody that, as a veteran here in the US, you know, they do my blood work every year. So I was getting closer and closer to, you know, being diabetic and, you know, clogged arteries from cholesterol. And, you know, at the end of the day, it's like, we got major eating problems. A lot of people are eating their emotions. I think men in particular are eating their emotions more than any other time in history, because we've created a generation of men that are programmed to fuck their feelings versus to feel their feelings. And that's shifting little by little. But I know that what I'm talking about isn't popular yet. And I emphasize yet. I believe a shift in the human conscientiousness is starting to shift. I think that we collectively are sick and tired, man. Sick and tired of all the bullshit. And most of it is stuff that we're starting to wake up and say, we ain't got no control over this stuff. Why do I put so much focus and energy and effort and excitement and drama and highs and lows into things that I literally got no control over? Think about it. Think about all the things that you give your energy to that you don't have any control over the outcome of it. You're not putting in work. You're not putting in effort that, you know, you get to determine if you give up, if you learn, if you get knocked down, you get back up and you keep refining your process, your approach, your ability to face that challenge or to face whatever it is so that you can ultimately, if worth it, be successful. And so I do believe that this is a global shift that's starting to happen. And the most powerful place that you can be is looking in the mirror and looking within. When I say looking within, I'm talking about you actually got to go back and do some archiving. You got to go through the archives. And this is a great journal exercise if you're up for the challenge. I highly encourage you to just get a piece of paper and literally give yourself a couple hours, an hour, 30 minutes. How much time you got, right? To invest in you, to where you can sit back and literally just start writing out a list of all the people that have ever hurt you. Anybody that's ever caused you pain. Usually you start with your parents, you know. Everyone, mom or dad, at least at some point, did something that caused you some pain, embarrassed you, right? And then you start getting into siblings and family and friends and lovers, right? And you just keep like expanding. You go as far back as you can remember, and then you just keep expanding more and more and more throughout your life. People you worked with, lovers, partners, children, grandchildren, who knows? I mean, you got to do an inventory of this stuff. And I know that that's usually the biggest dragons and demons that we're talking about. We create these things, dealing with my dragons, dealing with my demons, or whatever. Usually I hear demons more than anything else. And it's like this, there's no demons. It's just you having to face your past. And that takes going in that time machine. And that means that you can then go through, and are you ready to give yourself the power, right? And the permission to let these people that have caused you harm go. And that doesn't mean that you're ever gonna forgiveness is this one-way street. You have to hear this. We have created these things of forgiveness that someone's gonna call you out of the blue, 30 years, 40 years into the future and be like, oh, you know what? Hey, I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. You don't understand. I mean, man, can that happen? Yeah, but that's not the norm. Because most of us are programmed to do what? Sweep it under the rug. Forget about it. Bury the hatchet. I buried the hatchet. But you didn't bury the hatchet. You're still carrying around that anger. You're still carrying around some bitterness. And you're wondering why. And what you haven't probably realized is that it's continuing to play itself out in your life. Like, no cap. Like, this stuff continues to play itself out. And it's the craziest thing. Like, if something happened to you as a child that left you feeling unsafe, left you feeling unheard, left you feeling unprotected, left you feeling like the world was a bad place and people do bad things because somehow you were violated. A great example is someone I was working with recently came to a realization that having their special toy as a kid, having that stolen at such an early age, like 5, 6 years old, and just all the sense of loss and sadness, right, is literally still playing itself out. Fast forward into 30 years in the future, right, being overprotective and controlling and not trusting the world that someone's going to take something that's special, that matters. We've never learned these things. And it's probably by design. We've all been hoodwinked. We've all been deceived, right? But have we? I don't really look at us as being victims. I just realized that this is a time to awaken. This is the age of Aquarius. It is time for us to awaken. And part of the awakening is that you don't have to do shit. You get the opportunity if you're ready. If you hear this message and it's resonating, respond. Do the exercise. Write down all the people that have hurt you. I know someone that was literally raped, and that person has sent the rapist love, joy, peace, unconditional love. Just release. This is spiritual release. That person isn't going to have to call them up and try and say, hey, I want to forgive you for hurting me. No, man, that's not it. Don't do that to yourself. That's yourself tricking yourself to stay stuck. Have you ever seen have you ever seen like a courthouse where, an accused murderer, right? The slain victim's family addresses them with forgiveness and says, hey, justice is served. We forgive you, though. I forgive you. Because they don't want to hold on to that. So they get it. And that's like the most craziest thing. You could just imagine if you were like a parent and your child was murdered and you have to they catch the bad guy, the person that did this. I mean, could you do that? Could you in your heart of hearts do that? Or are you so locked into the story of this experience? Because I'm here to tell you that if there's patterns in your life where you've lost things, or you have felt unsafe, or you don't trust, if there's a pattern from as far back as you can think, from these things that happened to you that planted these seeds of negativity in your heart, that you have continued in your survival mode to create circumstances, and what that should indicate for you. I hope you're tracking this right now. What those patterns should indicate for you is part of your soul mission on this planet, is to transcend that sense of loss, that sense of being unworthy, that sense of not trusting, that sense of feeling unsafe, that sense of being betrayed. And what it takes is for you to forgive energetically. It's unilateral. It's unilateral. It's in your heart, in your mind, in your soul, in your strength, in your heart of hearts. You know when you are really being genuine and saying, you know what, I forgive them with everything I got, man. I forgive this person that hurt me. And you don't need facts. You don't have to hash out the facts. We're so fact-based, information-driven. No, that's not right. You don't understand. It's like, I do understand. I do. That's why I'm talking to you right now. I understand so well I'm talking to you because I have lived this. And I have gone a step further. I have actually sought out people that I hurt as a spirit of reconciliation. So people that I've hurt, not people that have hurt me. People that have hurt me, I know how to release them with all my heart, with all my soul, with all my strength. Forgive them, send them love, send them joy, send them peace, send them prosperity. I want nothing but good to happen, because here's the real kicker. If you're listening this long and you're like, what he's saying is making sense. Well, this should make sense also. That these people that have caused you the harm, this list that you're gonna write down, this is your soul tribe. Y'all signed up for this. And that's not just your mom, that wasn't just your dad, that wasn't just this jerk off or narcissist. No, these are souls that y'all hatched this story for you and for them to transcend, to become the higher version of yourself, not the lower. The lower is suffering. If you want to stay suffering, right? Even if you get one-dimensional results, you're going to still be suffering. If you get in shape, but you don't do this inner work, you're still suffering. And you know that because you're easily the way you know this is how emotionally triggered and manipulated you are. So a lot of times we'll focus on one area when we need to be fluid and align all four areas. That's the game right there. Mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical. When you align all four of those attributes that makes you this incredible life force energy having a human experience. You are a soul having a human experience. You are an eternal soul. I'm here to tell you that. You are eternal. You're playing this character this round. If you can identify the patterns of hurt and pain that have happened time and time again throughout your life, those are all indicators for you to say, this is what you need to heal, to transcend, to be free. Because when you set someone that's hurt you free, then you got to turn to yourself and forgive yourself for harboring, for holding resentment, anger, hatred, murderous thoughts, like, this unforgiveness. Then you set yourself free. Set them free, set you free, and then you're flying like an eagle, which shifts your whole entire reality. From there, you can really start to move some mountains, to really start to manifest some things that you never thought were possible, because you then become aligned with your divine birthright as an eternal soul. You've done the spiritual work. A lot of us want to circumvent that spiritual work, and a lot of us do it through religion. You know you've done it. You're looking for the magic trick. You're looking for the quick fix. There's no quick fix. You have to do this inventory. Face yourself. Face those that have harmed you. Release them, release yourself. I hope this message helps you. I hope this brings you some inspiration, some clarity. If you're somebody that would like a guide to help you along that process, reach out to me, greg@resultskillexcuses.com. I am absolutely here to serve you, to work with you, to walk this out with you, and to really show you the process. And the beautiful thing is it won't take you forever. 3 to 6 months, usually 6, right, is going to get you some major traction in life. And that would be the greatest honor, right? Beyond that, I'm going to keep sharing this message. Would you do the same? Share the message, like the message, comment down below. Tell me how this message is making a difference in your life. I can't tell you how much that fills my cup. Makes me feel like, right, it gives me the fuel to just keep moving, keep going, keep being the best version of me. And I'm going through major transformational healing right now. And the beautiful thing is that just like with you, it's the same with me. Anything that we heal in ourselves, like authentically heal in ourselves, that qualifies us to help heal that same thing in another person. And that is freaking so cool. So I continue down this path. I'm always looking for new things that I know that I'm interested and curious to see if this will help me. And when it does, you know it's coming your way. And we got some big things coming. So stay tuned. Thank you so much for supporting the Results Kill Excuses channel. I love you guys. You know the drill. Results kill excuses, because if it was easy, it wouldn't be worth it. Greg's out.